Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Talk Scottish Football, episode number
76.
77. I'm sure it's 77. Welcome back anyway, brought to you by G4 Claims, as always, in the lovely G4 Claims podcast studio. I'm joined today, Ryan Fitzsimons, by David Buick.
Yep.
By Callum Craig. David, I feel like we've not done a podcast together in
It's been a long
ages,
time since the OGs were in the same
the old
place.
school, the beginning, the founders, you know.
Yeah, we're like the Shawn Michaels and Triple H of this carry on.
Exactly. Who's Sean? Who's Hunter?
I think you're probably Triple H.
Oh,
I'm Sean.
I wanted to be Sean.
Yeah, I mean, I left free will and found God and came back, didn't I?
And Callum, I mean, you could see you've left and found God and came back as well. First show you've been
Not
a while.
God, he's found.
It's been a while.
No God, no.
No.
But no, it's good to be back. It's nice to be back. Nice to be talking football.
I mean, the last time you were here, it was the pre-season predictions video. It was the
That was a fun time, wasn't it?
The start of the season
Back
special.
when the majority of people tipped on Fairmont to win the championship. Oh, a great laugh, wasn't it?
I mean, since then, Callum, we were talking about the reign, the beginning of the Don Mackay era. The Don Mackay era has now come to a close. Let's start off with that. Like, what is that about, man?
I wish I knew. I mean, obviously, it's only one of the ones we can only go off what we see on Twitter, what we see on other social medias. But I think as well, it's a bit of a strange situation. But you can only hope, whatever it is, you can only hope the guy's well and all families well.
Nice to see Paul Slane get the job in his place, though, wasn't it?
Did you like the cut of his jib?
I like Don Mackay, yeah. But
Did you like the cut of the jib?
Listen, I think he took a really unnecessary hard time in his time here at Celtic.
His time here at Celtic. You're a Celtic fan.
I know. I worded that strangely. Listen. I think that he had an unbelievably tough job to go into. I think he did a lot of good things this summer. The appointment of Ange Postecoglou being the main one. But there's obviously something not quite right there. I obviously don't really know enough a lot about what's happened, not as much as what you do probably.
Yeah, so for the people who might be listening who aren't Celtic fans, because obviously we've got a nice range of listeners at this point on this podcast, the record are reporting that he jumped before he was pushed. So
he must have just upset the apple cart then with Desmond and that.
Yeah, so what seems to be the situation is that he was far too modern for the old room of Tories, you could say. Was there too much change there, Callum? Do you think that the board were looking at Don Mackay's vision, his modernisation, his kind of his plans for the future, and thinking, this doesn't suit our business model?
No, definitely. I think, as said, when Mackay came in, he told the fans what the plan was and his vision to where to go with it, and as you said, it's probably just not suited their criteria.
Yeah, it's sad. It really is. I mean,
you slagged him rotten the whole time he was here.
Aye, I was waiting to touch on that if you let me. You know, I liked calling them all rugby loyal and all the rest of it, you know. But it was a tough job. It was always going to be for whoever filled in those shoes. But, you know, he was a guy who came in, first press conference, he threw about that word modernisation left, right and centre. And it was easy to buy into. And yeah, maybe there was still work to be done and we still had things to do. But, you know, to see him go in 72 days still is a bit...
But that's the thing, how quick did people think it was going to happen? Everyone was
why has it not happened yet? It was a long term thing.
I think in the time he was here, he made really positive steps. I think in terms of, he got the managerial appointment right.
He got the fan media in.
I mean, yeah, that's a token gesture though, let's be honest.
Well, get me in the door, you know, that's big.
But yeah, I'll be interested to see if that stays. But yeah, he got the Ange thing absolutely spot on, and he clearly wanted to give Ange the money to get the players in. He got a decent number of players in, not enough, but again, sounds like, you know, the cronies at the top didn't want to get any more players in, didn't want to spend any more money, which is mental considering their net spend over the last 18 months is... It's not.
We've brought in £50 million in 3 players alone. what did the big Charlie Mulgrew voice note was?
Big Chico.
Cutting the jibs, and I honestly fell for it. I thought it was him. I did. At first, I didn't go all out there and retweet it and like, oh, this is it. Blah, blah, blah. I was hesitant about it. I waited to see what happened. Of course, Charlie Mulgrew came out and rubbished it, but it's pretty convincing. It does sound like Charlie Mulgrew.
That's a wee bit.
I think so. I heard June McGinley speaking about it in the live stream.
But it's the way he talks about bank. He's like, that bankier guy. As if like Charlie Mulgrew wouldn't know fine well who he is. You know what I mean?
That banker. He had a good laugh with it though, Charlie did. It was the voice note, and that was funny. We'll wait and see what happens with Celtic in the coming months, but I assume that Michael Nicholson will be there in charge for the foreseeable. You know, that temporary, that acting word is always we've seen it with Neil Lennon. He was given the permanent job. We've seen it with
no interview process for this either, similar to Lennon.
We've seen it with Nicky Hammond as well, when he was given the job of the head of recruitment.
Maybe as well with Alison Hammond, let's be honest.
And you know, I'm just assuming that it's got to be the same with Nicholson in charge now. God knows what will happen, but Celtic fans won't be happy.
He's just a puppet. Lol's got his...
Would you like to stick your hand up his arse?
Lol will have his hand right up his arse. Yeah, I would say so. I would definitely say so. I was honestly expecting Lol to go back in on a temporary basis.
No, so that I was fully calm. I don't know about you, but I was sitting there in Box Bar ready for the announcement saying, "Welcome back, Peter Lawwell."
It wouldn't have came as a surprise whatsoever.
Eric Bischoff, I'm back.
Proper like Vince. It was me all along. Austin vibes.
What in the Dom?
It was me, Dom. It was me all along.
Yeah, it's got to be funny. It's got to be entertaining. Just as things start to get a bit more positive at Celtic, there's always something to bring it back down. But we'll talk about the positives at Celtic in this episode when we get on to the game. So let's talk about the weekend, lads.
Start with Rangers then. We'll jump back to Rangers.
I was going to start elsewhere. I had plans.
Fine, sorry.
I was going to start with what was meant to be the premier game of the weekend.
Oh, right, we're going to start.
In a weekend where we've seen Jose Mourinho celebrate his 1000th game as manager, and a weekend which seen Cristiano Ronaldo return back to Old Trafford, we also had the mighty, the famous Edinburgh derby.
Yeah, loves a 0-0 that fixture. Yeah, it was a really good 0-0 though. I thought it was quite good.
I was about to say, on paper, you look at that 0-0 and you go, another letdown of an Edinburgh derby game, but it wasn't the worst, was it?
No, it was decent. Chances at both ends, both keepers had really good games. Matt Macy really is impressing me. I just think he's a really good keeper. Yeah, chances at both ends. I think Hearts probably had the better of it in terms of like the prolonged period on top, but Hibs always looked a threat. Gordon made some magic saves at the end. One from McGuinness in particular was a really good save. Made one from Boyle as well. But I think the most interesting for me was the fallout from it all. And Robbie Nielsen's comments post-match, if you heard them, basically saying that the Hibs players gone over and he was basically accusing them of celebrating the point because they went over to collect the fans and stuff, and saying that it shows the mentality difference between Hearts and Hibs. Hibs were happy with it and Hearts weren't, which is just nonsense really, but you know what Robbie Nielsen's like.
Yeah, I was about to say, Calum, I mean, a point for both teams with the way they've started the season is probably it's probably an indication of how both teams have started the season. There's not one that's been much better than the other. They've both been solid. It was going to be a tough game all along. I don't think, I know Nielsen's came out as what David said and given those comments, I don't think any manager will be necessarily disappointed with a point. I don't think any sets of fans should be disappointed with a point. Of course you want to beat your rivals, but it's still a good start to the season. A point will do.
I know, definitely. I think, as David touched on, it was a cracking game to watch. Even for it being a 0-0, you'd think if you looked at that as a neutral, you'd think, shite. Must have been an absolutely rotten game, but it was constant back and forth. As I said, both keepers were tested massively, but I'm not really there with the Nielsen comments, so that shows their mentality.
It's just trying to stir the pot, innit, really?
Aye.
Yeah, because he's a wido, which we all know. But what I find really interesting is that you're not hearing any Hearts fans crying for Nielsen out now, are you?
No.
I saw Adam on Saturday and I jarred him, but I said, listen, you're all fucking big on Nielsen now, yeah.
I'd like to have Adam on the day. That would have been a good laugh to have him on.
So he can comment on what he observed me doing on Saturday and going fucking mental.
Did he sit with you throughout the game,
most of the game, yeah. But I moved around a fair bit. Open terrace in the air, I moved around.
See, at Ayr Stadium, is it still,
Can we leave this till later on?
we'll get that till we'll save it. Yeah, Nielsen, talking about Nielsen's comments after the game, I was reading the record on Sunday morning, not voluntarily. I was
what
just,
you do is you're part of your routine.
I'm not at all of that, sometimes, but my dad had it and I was just looking at it. I was just having a browse through, and we're talking about goalkeepers. Let's talk about Craig Gordon. Nielsen said he could be Hearts' first team keeper until he's 42 years old, he thinks. What do you make of that?
No idea. I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Do you
The
think
body kind of goes at that. But then here's the thing you've got to remember. It's quite unique with Craig Gordon. He missed a large part of his career. You think about goalies, they do a lot of diving around. They put their body through quite a lot. He's got like 4 or 5 years where he didn't do that really. So I wonder if that, in terms of like how long he can last, that'll probably add to it, I would have thought. He had less toil in the body. He had a big break in the middle of his career.
Do you see him lasting much past the year or two? I think he's got his contract left at Hearts, Cal.
No, I think Hearts will renew that.
100% they'll extend his contract.
They'd be daft not to.
It's funny because obviously now it gives that argument that you see all the kind of older Celtic fans go, I don't know why we ever let go of Gordon.
I'm fed up fucking hearing about this.
I'm sick of it, I know.
But he did have a good game at the weekend.
Yeah, he's been brilliant this season. He's been the best goalie in the league so far this season.
International duty as well.
Yeah.
He's done his bit, I suppose.
And Div made this comment in the last podcast we did. When you've got Craig Gordon goal for Scotland, you always feel a little bit more at ease because you know he's got a worldie saving him. Like Gordon, he'll make mistakes, but he's got a worldie saving him when you need him to. Probably more than any Scottish goalkeeper I can remember.
What about McGregor?
Yeah, but McGregor's not played that much for Scotland, really, is he?
No.
And he chucked it a few years ago. So, but yeah, no, fair play. And the Hearts fans just absolutely adore him. But he can play for a good 3, 4, or 5 years. I would have said, yeah. What age is he anyway?
38.
Is he actually 38?
I think so.
No, he's not 38.
Is he not?
I could settle down.
Yes, is he not?
No,
I'm sure he is.
He's definitely not.
We're all
38.
giggling here. Let's see the Google around the table. I'm sure he's about 38.
No, he's like 34, isn't he?
38.
I tell you he's fucking 38. I tell you.
38.
I
Aye.
don't think he was as old.
Fucking told you.
Christ almighty.
Aye.
He's looking good for it, to be fair to
Aye,
him.
it does, aye. Well, that's what happens.
Well, I'd say he's definitely got a 4 year left in him based now.
I think so.
I mean, he's probably as good now as he's been.
Think so?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. He's still whipping out quality saves week in, week out. It doesn't say much of the Hearts defence right enough, does it?
I can't believe you thought he was younger than 38.
Well, you were
man.
doubting yourself big time.
No, because your reactions, I knew he was 38. I actually did know.
I thought he was a good few years younger than McGregor.
No.
Oh my God, he's Scotland's number one. He's 38 year old.
Yeah. That was why I wanted to see Clark in the team, but that's a different discussion for a different day. Now going into the next game, Hearts and Hibs still find themselves in a good position, second and third in the table. It's pretty straight. I think we've got players on both sides that are going to make life easy for them for the next few games.
Well, let's talk about
how long can they stay around that sort of area of the table.
Well, they're both going to be fighting for third, aren't they? Hearts top 6 is going to be the aim because they're just up. But I want to talk about Barry Mackay. What about his hairdo? What are we saying about that?
Wish Jack Grealish.
What are we saying about that? I'm not sure I'm having it. I think Robbie Nielsen signed him just because he's got the same hair as him. He's obviously tried to get the same hair as the gaffer, which is disgusting, really. But no, I'm not having that bar in it. But he'll be a decent player for them. Mackay Stevens coming to his own as well. They've got lots of good players, Hearts, actually. Obviously, Beningme in the middle is the main
Is that how you say it?
I
don't know. Beningme.
In the Beningme.
He's been a star.
I have genuinely.
But Hibs fans loved. You see the bit where Boyle left him in his arse. That was quite good.
Yeah.
Hibs fans like that one.
Right, so the Edinburgh Derby. One last thing I want to talk about the Edinburgh Derby is something that kind of sparked a bit of discussion on Twitter over the weekend. The atmosphere at these games, they are a bit of a letdown, aren't they?
Yeah, some people were. I thought it was all right. I mean, it was an early kick-off on a Sunday, which is never ideal, is it?
Well, I mean, we always get the best out of you, don't we?
Yeah, but it's a bit of an anomaly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, if that game was a 5 o'clock on a Saturday, it would be fucking unbelievable. Or a midweek, even they're always quite good. Yeah, but who cares? Dundee Derby will be good next week. That's Sunday as well, so that's probably early.
Yeah, Sunday.
That'll be at 12 o'clock. Is on the telly.
Just shafts
Because
the fans.
Celtic aren't
Please
televised.
Scotland shafting the fans. That's what that is.
Please Scotland, sort it out.
Are you even Dundee United £30 a ticket?
Oh, by the way, I mean, they've sold it that away end, which just the profit on the fans desperate to go to a derby. But Dundee will be hoping the derby goes better than they did when they were in the Championship together, because United had the better.
Definitely.
Right, let's move on to the rest of the games from the weekend. Then we'll start at McDiarmid Park, St Johnstone against Rangers. I thought that was it, Calm. I thought they were going to drop some points there. I didn't, and I've been getting a fair amount of comments on this podcast about how I fairly talk about Rangers, and I will fairly talk about Rangers once more. I thought they were incredibly lucky at the weekend. I didn't think they looked up too much.
For what I seen it, obviously I said to you before we came on, I was out watching football Saturday morning, and as the first half it was boring. No team seemed up to it, and it was just constant side to side. Second half, I think when St Johnstone took their chance, it sort of both teams sort of perked up a bit. Rangers were, I'm not saying they're in that panic mindset, but I'm right, fuck, we need to figure out the arse here and get something here. Then obviously I think after that they nearly scored like 2 minutes after it. The ball right into the back post, Morelos had just missed it. Then I think, see, once Rangers get that penalty and they get a goal, I think for there they look confident.
It was inevitable, wasn't it? They were going to find a winner. They've got that sort of mentality in those games where they just find a way.
The problem from a Celtic fan point of view,
why didn't they play Kyogo through the middle in the Old Firm? I mean, how easy is that one? That's the one where you get.
It wasn't what I was going to say, to be fair. But from a Celtic fan point of view, St Johnstone scored too early. See if they saved it another 10-15 minutes. Jesus, smashing the place. If they saved it another 10-15 minutes, I do think Rangers probably would have dropped points at the weekend. It just came 50 minutes was just too early in the game.
But I mean,
too early. Give Rangers a lot of time to adjust.
It was that easy for them to hurt them because obviously the goal comes from that ball in behind, and Hollander's not very quick.
O'Halloran
does take it very, very, very well. But also in the first half, he gets down the left hand side. McLaughlin wipes him out. They caused them problems just by spinning that defence. And Ange has said himself he should start Kyogo in the middle, but that'll further prove that point. That's how you're going to hurt that Rangers defence if you can spin them. They play such a high line, don't they? So. And no defender in the world at any level likes to get turned and have to run back towards their own goal. It's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, I mean, I said it on the last show. I worry about for St Johnstone this season, not in terms of relegation, but in terms of just really being a bit meh.
I think because of how high they were last season, and
it was always going to happen. But then to lose the players they've lost, and they're still yet to win in the league this season, I'm pretty sure, which is not great. So yeah, I do fear for them a little bit that it could be a tough season for them. But I mean, Rangers just do what they do, don't they? They just find a way. Great goal from Tavernier.
It's always hard to it's always hard to kind of balance that argument whether or not they're doing what champions should do. They're slugging out the results. They're coming back from 1-0 behind, or do you look at the side of the argument where they haven't been too clever? It's always hard to kind of balance. If you're
not playing that well and you're still winning, that is the sign of champions.
That is,
even in the Old Firm, I don't think they were amazing. They still won, which happened in pretty much every Old Firm game last year, bar the 4-1, which they were fantastic. But even the rest, they weren't ever unbelievable. That's the one thing I always think about Rangers. Pretty much every time I watch them, bar some of the European games where they really are fantastic, I always think there's so much more to come from them. But they're not. They don't really jump to that next level. Like I watch them and they'll be 2-0 up in the game and I'll just be like, right, that'll do. And that is amazing that they can do that. But I just always think there's more. I think there's more to come from Kent, more to come from Hadji, more to come from Aribo. And they need to find that. Well, I say they need to. They don't need to find that next level because they're winning every week. But I just always think there's more to come from them.
Callum, the Tavernier goal to win the game. Can Clark do better?
I think so.
Sorry, I know you're Callum.
I know the thing. David just touched on it positionally wise. I mean, not taking anything away from Tavernier, it's a fantastic strike for him to get it up and get the dip in the goal. And again, as you said, you can sort of question the goalkeeper a bit.
Takes a big step towards his front post, doesn't he? Takes a big step out of the way and leaves the space over the top of him. He obviously expects a cross, I think. But then even if he expects a cross, it's an interesting way to position yourself and it gets done. But great finish from Tavernier, to be fair. He's got that in the locker. He did that. I mean, that goal against Dundee United, the free kick last season, was a similar circumstance where that won the game for them. So yeah, and he's not an amazing start to the season, but the fact that he's still pulling out with things like that is quite impressive.
Lovely. Well, top of the league now. They are sitting on top of the world looking down in creation. I don't like that, but it has to be done. It's just, we'll have to overcome that, Cal. We'll get there, and we seem to be getting there. We win again at the weekend, a 3-0 win, Celtic against Ross County. It was a bit of a dodgy game, wasn't it?
Rubbish first half, wasn't it?
Again, I thought first half was a bit similar to the St Johnstone Rangers game. It's very boring. There wasn't really much to it. Ross County done what they were set up to do. Just hold us out, just keep playing it away. But then I think second half we started to find the gaps. We managed to get these wee balls in behind. I mean, Carter Vickers gets extremely lucky with his goal, but you know what?
See, even when I was sitting that, honestly, I've not watched back the highlights of the Celtic game. I don't know why I usually do, but I was at the game. But when I seen the cut from my angle, I was like, what the hell? Exactly. And I was like, what is going on there?
How big are his calves? Fucking huge, by the way.
He's a big boy.
Also, he's not that tall though.
I know he isn't.
He's about 6 foot. Like he's
very broad.
Yeah,
he's
very
built
broad.
like an American footballer.
He is built like a brick shithouse, to be fair to him. But I think I noticed it was quite telling. I was surprised that he went straight in. I'll be honest. I expected
it. Fully expected.
Really?
It. Yeah, fully expected.
Actually,
but for me, Callum, I think it was. And Ange, I think, was pretty telling in his interviews. He was happy to win the game, but he wasn't over jubilant about the result. He wasn't a 3-0 win usually magic, but great, but he could tell there was work to be done. I think you could see though that it was a pretty standard performance for a side that's coming back from an international break, and also you got to remember you're basically looking at Juranovic playing his first game in his proper position. You're looking at Carter Vickers playing his first game. You're looking at Jota playing his first game. That was the first time. Jota, I would say, was pretty average. A couple
maybe George Michael joke for you there.
I mean, Christ, I mean, it does look like Georgie boy, but It was okay. Yeah, a couple of moments a flare, but I mean, we were just quiet altogether. Celtic.
If you look at the bench again at the weekend,
Oh,
it gives you the fear, doesn't it?
That could be the worst bench I've ever seen as a Celtic fan.
This is the thing, because obviously Kyogo's missing just now, and the big Greek guy who I'm not going to pronounce his name until I know how to do it.
Giacomakis.
Is that what we're going with?
Giacomakis.
Right, okay, cool, because I didn't want to butcher it. So obviously those two are to come back into the squad. Who else is to come back in? Forrest. Was Forrest in the
Forrest
squad?
is yet to come back into the squad.
What is the script with James Forrest?
Oh, God, I don't even know.
Because he had that brief spell where it was, he was away for COVID and right, fair dues. And he said, he's injured and it's this, that and the rest.
Because he missed the tail end of the season, missed the Euros. Oh no, was he in the Euros squad? I can't really remember.
That's what I'm trying to
But
remember.
he was injured towards the end of the season. Then he came back, and then he was injured again. Then he
wasn't in the Euro squad. He wasn't in the Euro squad. Definitely wasn't. I'm sure it. I'm sure he wasn't. I'm absolutely certain he wasn't.
Yeah,
Might be wrong.
Who
Who cares?
so sure. Who cares? But he didn't play, innit? He did. Did he play?
No.
Did he play?
No, he did not. You're confusing me now.
I feel like he came on in a game.
No,
and
he absolutely never.
I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. That's right.
Is that you made up your mind now?
No,
Final answer.
I don't know. But anyway, he's obviously missing. So you've got those three that are missing. Who else is missing?
Johnston's missing.
But again, he's been long term missing. Julian long term.
Yep.
So the squad is still light.
Yep, it is. Yeah.
And it's proven that with a few injuries, they're really struggling.
McCarthy's still hit and miss.
I told you when that. I mean, what a 4-year deal? You having a fucking laugh?
Yeah.
He's not played. He's not started a game yet, has he?
No.
So that's a bit mental. It's just they're so lucky. Callum McGregor's an absolute machine. Because if he was not a machine and did get injured, they would be struggling a little bit.
I know, he went to the Austria game, I shat myself. I'm like, that's
But they're having to rely on Tom Rogic at this point. It's 2021 and Celtic are relying on Tom Rogic. As much as I love the guy, he was almost off to Qatar last summer.
And there's another part of that, Calum. I'm saying I don't want to read into a poor performance too much off the back end international break and the fact that we're basically playing a brand new team, as well as like Rogic, who's just travelled half the fucking world after playing 180 minutes for fucking Australia. So it's difficult to come back and ask for another 6-0 at Celtic Park. We got the job done, we got the 3 points, and that's what matters, I think. Because it did feel like there was a long portion of the game we weren't going to get a goal. And when we did get that goal, it changed the tone, the floodgates sort of opened, and then we've seen a wee bit of the Celtic that we have been seeing. But more importantly, Ajeti gets himself in the score sheet.
I know, I think a lot of people said, this is his big chance to prove himself. I'd say he stepped up, took his chances well. I think the first goal he does well to peel off for the boy, get selling at the back stick. And then second goal, it's a bit of luck, but then I suppose positions yourself well again, get that tapping.
I'm not sure you learned anything new about Ajeti in that game though, because I saw a thing. I think he has about 10 or 15 touches in the whole game. He scores 2 goals, which is, we all know he can do that because when he first started, he did that. Remember, I think he scored like 5-6 goals at the start of last season.
Yes.
And it was all in the box, good finishing, good positioning. But it's a crazy thing to say, but apart from the 2 goals, he doesn't offer you much. Whereas you've got like Kyogo will offer you so much.
This is where my worry comes in. I brought this up in the podcast yesterday. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fans who get in the danger of I'm not saying Ajeti's going to be a long-term starting option for Celtic. He's something different though, and that's what matters. I feel there's a problem where people are going to look at how much Kyogo runs and how much he does off the ball and all the rest of it, and continuously compare any other striker we now have from this point to that. They want everybody to be like that. Ajeti's a completely different player.
Angel want everyone to be like that as well.
Yeah, I suppose so, but we're not looking at Ajeti as a starting striker. We're looking at Ajeti as being a player who is a poacher, is someone who likes to finish inside the box and presents a different, just like Giacomakis. It's going to be nothing like Kyogo. The guy's 6 foot tall or whatever, and 6'1", whatever it is. He's a big guy. He likes to get on the end of crosses. He's not going to be anything like Kyogo. So are we as fans going to continuously compare him to Kyogo as well?
No, but it comes back to the whole thing when you've got a limited number of like attacking players. Then if Kyogo drops out, you have to slightly tweak things a little bit. Listen, Ajeti, you want a player like that in your team who just his positioning for the goals is brilliant. He just knows where to be, which is really really good. But if Kyogo's injured, you've then got to slightly change things a little bit. You can't play the same way, which is frustrating for Ange because he always has a clear style on how he wants to play, what he wants each player in each position to do. But yeah, I mean, you can only piss with the cock you've got, can't you? So he's got to use him. Have you never heard that before?
No, never heard that. No. Is that a Highlands thing?
I don't know. Tell me the comments if anyone else heard that before.
Piss with the cock you've got. I'm going to use that in the future. I like that.
So you've got to use him. He scored 2 goals, fair enough. But I tell you right now, if Ange wouldn't have Albion Ajeti as his backup striker, if he could really have a choice about it, let's be honest. Like if he had another. If he get a few more transfers in, he would. He's obviously doesn't fancy him because he's as fit as he's been. He looks in great shape. Played in pre-season. Then as soon as they got somebody else in, he's not had a kick. Until now, they've got nobody else, and he has to play. So if he ends up being a stopgap and he can score 2 goals in the game, Ange will be happy. But I don't think he'll want to have to rely on him much.
Well, win's a win. I'll take that.
And the final point on that is you said that Rangers weren't playing well and won. This is probably the first time Celtic at home certainly have not played that well, but they've still won. So I mean, that's probably good.
Apart from Michelin, let's not talk about that. That was the first.
Because that feels like last season, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Season.
Before we go any further on to the next game, I'd just like to quickly throw out something that I should have thrown out at the top of the show. Pardon me and anybody else on the panel for any sniffling, coughing or anything like that. We're not COVID riddled. Callum, you had a good weekend at Transmit.
I did indeed. That's why the throat's still a wee bit away. But
my throat's away from
us two
shouting at people.
Yeah, you've been shouting at a certain individual, and I've just got the cold.
Individuals, I think.
Individuals. So we'll come on to it. Don't worry. We will get there. Let's move on to the only other game that had goals this weekend, and it was only down the road at Fir Park. Motherwell 2, Aberdeen 0. Is it Kevin Van Veen?
Kevin Van Veen, what a player he is, by the way. He is going to be one of those in like 5 years' time. Remember Kevin Van Veen? He was fucking brilliant. He's totally going to be one of them cult hero types. Motherwell fans love him. He was brilliant again. It was a bit in the middle part where he absolutely rinsed Declan Gallagher. Looped it over his head, looped it back over his head. It was just brilliant. Motherwell fans loved that. Motherwell were just taking the piss at Aberdeen. Tony Watt taking the piss at Scott Brown. That was brilliant as well. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yeah, it was just superb. Tony Watt's flying.
Yeah, he is.
I was really worried for Motherwell pre-season. Like, I genuinely thought they could be in trouble in the
I had them at, I think, 11.
But they've started very, very well. Even in games where they haven't won. I remember they played Hibs on the opening day and they got beat, but I thought they were really good that day as well. I think they've
completely transformed everything that what I seen in the Betfred Cup groups to the league campaign.
Yeah.
They couldn't create. They couldn't do anything. Now you've got. I mean, the assist for the second goal from Van Veen, it's a terrific cross.
Yeah.
And even the first goal as well. But it's a terrific cross. They couldn't do that in the Betfred Cup. They were lumping the ball up the park and hoping for the best. They were trying to get someone there. But now they actually look as though there's a bit of creativity around them.
Yeah, fair play. It's so typical Motherwell this as well. They pull these guys out of nowhere and they end up doing really, really well. And yeah, there seems to be a feel-good factor there, which there wasn't a few weeks ago. As for Aberdeen, though, they're stuttering along just now, aren't they? Really, they're not really. I mean, initially you saw really good signs under glass, but now you're a bit like, is Dale still in charge?
Yeah, do you think, Callum, that the train is slowing down a little bit? Should there be cause for concern at Aberdeen?
I don't know so much about concern. I think it's just they might just come to a sort of wee bit of a sticky patch now. Some results aren't going their way. They didn't play the best against Motherwell either, for what I managed to see. But I think it one of those they'll eventually ride it out. I think they're still just sort of early stages. I think because of how well they started, they had the positive results. That's how people thought, right, this is it going forward. Even the same Celtic lies at with Ange. You get the first 6-0, brilliant, another one, you're like that, and then we say we touched in the games. You're disappointed a wee bit, but at the same time you can't expect 6-0 to be the norm.
Exactly, it does become a sort of part where you go, right, okay, this is just what happens in the Scottish Premiership. You do lose games like this, it happens from time to time. I think with Aberdeen, you look at them just now, they're sitting 6th in the table. I don't think it's overly bad for them. It's just, I think maybe it maybe overshadowed a bit by how well Hearts and Hibs have started the season.
It's not even that. There is just more competition for third spot this year. Hearts have started very, very well. But I mean, I remember saying when they got put out of the cup by Wraith Rovers, that was a disaster for Stephen Glass. And since then, it's proved even more of a disaster because they got pumped out of Europe, which he rested players for. And they've not been flying like they probably should be. So now he's already out of one cup. He's got the Scottish Cup left. And so they will really need to get a finger out in the league because they're going to need to finish third, really. I mean, the pressure that Derek McInnes was under for not finishing third regularly and not doing well in cups is the reason he got sacked. He's already out of one cup. He's got one left. Celtic and Rangers are both going to be flying for the Scottish Cup. So will Hearts and Hibs and everyone else. So it could be an interesting campaign for Aberdeen.
Yeah, and finally, one thing I wanted to touch on from that game, Callum, you brought up in the car as well. Liam Kelly had a great game for Motherwell, didn't he?
Oh, he was fantastic.
Scotland's future number one, mate. I'm telling you.
You've said that a couple of times now.
He's a good age, good pedigrees in the squad already.
Nah, he had a fantastic game. I think it was even. So I can't remember who it was. That shot, it was like point blank range. Mice gets his hand up to it again, comes back out, puts the pressure on, makes way play over the ball.
Oh yeah, just on goalies. What about the overreaction to that Joe Hart save at the weekend? People made out like he's
one
fucking.
tweet.
I mean, that's what.
But it was like you see, everyone was like, "Whoa, what a save! What a goalie! Look at him grabbing the ball and go fucking."
There was one tweet I seen. To be fair.
There was loads of retweets.
Your lock screen. That's the reason we're in this state.
Oh, excuse me. Let's listen. Vasilius Barkas, there's nothing. Yeah,
is he on the bench? No, is he just?
No, he's just that. He wasn't on the bench this weekend.
The last time we was seen was that warm up where he was just standing there, not saving anything.
Right, listen. Whoa, we've been through this. It was a shooting drill. It wasn't a goalkeeping drill. He was meant to stand there.
Are you what?
I don't know. I got told this.
Not how, what?
Who told you that?
Apparently,
The
it was just
reason, no, hold on a minute here. The reason they put the reserve backup goalies in there is so they can actually do some stuff because they're not playing.
No, at this time, well, I don't know. I just got told it was a shooting. Like, there was something on Twitter about it being
Yeah,
a
it was a
drill.
shooting drill, but they still got to try and save them.
No.
What?
You let them score it, get the confidence up. It's good of him to do that. If anything, that's a proper teammate.
Listen, he'll still come good, I fully believe.
Oh, well, I've got him photoshopped onto Jesus Christ as my back. You know,
yes.
This is sad, you know. Really is. Designated driver stuff.
Big shout out to the G4 Claims guys for getting a beer machine in the podcast studio.
Big shout out. Even though going a shout out for the designated driver, no.
No.
The designated driver's the most, I think, respectful job in the world, to be quite honest with you.
Well, for the second half of the show, I think I need a beer to get me through it. So,
Well, we're going to talk about the worst game of the weekend. Let's get it over and done with. Dundee drew 0-0 at the weekend.
wee Spark, you got 90 minutes though.
Need a pint to get through that.
90 minutes for Griff. Had a couple of chances.
Yeah. Against Livingston.
You can already see what he's going to bring to them though. He will keep them
Make
up.
a difference, yep.
Yeah, 100%. They're definitely because of him.
Yeah, Dundee looked the better of the two sides, but Livingston do get their first point of the season, I suppose. That makes it a little bit of a talking point
They're down.
for them. Do you think they're going to go down?
Yep.
Do you think that's the plastic part
Mark
that's
Dale will be
gone?
gone by Christmas.
Yeah, it looks like
Wait
it.
till Christmas.
Well, yeah. I mean, think about how badly they ended last season.
So it's just a continuous follow on
Yeah.
over in it.
So we'll see.
It was there was nothing really to talk about. I just want to get off this game already.
No, it was just the Griffiths thing. 90 minutes. Who thought
Griffiths,
he'd
yeah,
play 90 minutes?
BT will get him a goal.
Aye, I mean that's him now. Finally, Celtic will sign him in January. You watch.
Aye.
Can they recall him? He's on loan, isn't he? Or did they sell him?
Yeah, he's on loan.
Aye, they can recall him in January.
Recall him in January. Aye, we can recall him at any time, I believe.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm
Are you
sure. But it would have been registered.
No,
though,
I
that's the
think
thing.
it's to be during a transfer window.
Aye, he wouldn't be able to play.
Right, anyway, let's move on to the last game because Dundee Levy really was a bit of a drag, and it was another 0-0, the final 0-0 of the Premiership weekend, a 0-0 that I actually thought was quite an entertaining
What a
watch.
save by Seagrist,
Shut up, right? It's St Mirren against Dundee United. Yeah, I thought St Mirren looked the better of the two sides. A couple of good chances. Goal line.
That's a smashing pint, that.
That was lovely.
Aye,
Nice
just
and
Did a
cold
good
too.
goal, David. Did a good goal.
Thank you, mate. Yeah. Sorry, Ryan, you were saying?
Goal line clearance early on from St Mirren. Dundee United had a good chance. The offside goal for St Mirren. I thought Big Chico was playing him on.
I was yet to see it, so
I watched it back and right, it gets cut. It probably is offside because Charlie Mulgrew comes running in, and he slides in front of the player or whatnot. But I'm sure when I think it might be Curtis Main that scores the goal. I'm sure when Main does get, I don't know if maybe he's active before Mulgrew moves or whatever, but I'm sure when he strikes, Mulgrew's ahead of him. I'm like, how's that offside? But I think it is the right call. I'm not sure. I'd have to actually watch it back with the proper angles and timings and such. It's hard when you're watching it in the Premiership fucking highlights page. But I thought St Mirren were the better side. They were unlucky to get a goal. But I don't know, but to kind of fair representation of how both teams are going to be this season, Cam, I'd say.
I think it would just be, probably the fair result and in the end though, I think there's not much you can say about that. It generally just gives me
St Mirren are
depression for
struggling
that
though.
0-0.
They've only scored 3 goals this season in
Yeah.
the league. They're really struggling. And you think like they went in this, obviously they brought in Brophy and Main. You think right they'll get them some goals, but they're not creating anything for them. And they're really, really struggling, which is surprising considering how good they were last year and how their sort of aim for the top 6 are still a thing. Tony Fitzpatrick still wants them to keep going. They've spent a lot of money. Jim Goodwin's got the biggest budget of any St Mirren manager ever. And a few people criticising him, which I'm a bit surprised at. But you know, listen.
Shout out to Tom and Work who wants him gone.
Tom wants him gone.
Wants him gone forever.
Which I laughed at him first when he said that, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, oh Christ, I've actually been shite recently. So we'll see. But they need to start scoring goals.
Both teams are incredibly unlucky because there was a couple of good chances in the game. The one, Trevor Carson makes a magnificent save from Richard Tate's opportunity. I mean, it is a really, really good save. I think any other time that's gone in the back of the net. The other one, Dundee United, Christ, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. I mean, granted, I can't remember who it is from St Mirren, starts making a bit of ground on him, but he has so much time to think about it and he ends up putting it wide. And both of those chances are probably the biggest points of the game. Where one of them could have took a very valuable 3 points.
Yeah, total top 6 battle there. Innit? One of them will try and creep for 6th place, but mental how everyone's involved in the top 6 battle. Really,
We were talking
like Levy and Dundee.
We were talking about this in a way here about how this season is a very sort of.
I just think teams are so much more evenly balanced now. It's not like even like the top 6, Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen. They're all kind of pretty even. But yeah.
Right, well that's the Premiership done for this weekend. If we have a quick look at the league table, Rangers sit at top, a point ahead of Hibs and Hearts, who are in at joint second and third. Motherwell in at fourth, Celtic fifth. Aberdeen complete the top six. Livingston are down in the bottom though with only 1 point. Celtic take on Livingston this weekend, Calm, in a place in the Tony Macaroni where we have struggled as of the last few years. Surely now more than ever we should be winning that game.
I mean, you like to think so, but again, it's just any time you go there we somehow seem to struggle. There's just something about it, we just can't get a result.
Plastic Park, Isaac.
I think even like you look at last season, like the three each, it's point for maybe we'll try and do something, then again just couldn't defend, but I suppose that's different managers, different players and such now.
Yep, no more Lenny. Goodbye. Right, let's move on to the Scottish Championship then. Hey, you're looking forward to this, David, aren't you? You're looking forward to this. Let's just start with it, David. What is going on, man? How's he not gone? Monday morning, I thought Peter Grant, surely he's got to be gone from Dunfermline, and here he is, still in charge after a loss to an Ayr United side who are they managerless still?
Yeah, they sacked the manager before.
Yep.
It was Thursday they sacked him, right?
Yep, David Hopkins went, Jim Duffy came in. Get him out, Sean.
You must be like
either fucking him or me, you know.
How it must feel awful though, because
it does feel awful. It's fucking horrible.
Because, you know, any other season when you're not like looked at as such a potential winner of the league, to actually be the team that are like, you know, they could win this.
This season, it's been 10 years since we were in the top flight. 10 years. Inverness, Ross County, Livingston, Hamilton, St Mirren, Dundee, they've all spent numerous seasons in the top flight and we've not been in once. It's pish. And it's like Peter Grant is so out of his depth, and he's got to be sacked now. And how anyone in that boardroom can sit there and think that he is still the man to get us promoted is fucking beyond me. But it's not even just that. It's the build up of so many years now of not been in the top flight. So much in the last 3 appointments. Alan Johnson came in, took us out of League One, fine. They then give him a 2-year deal, which he lasted about 6 months of, and got sacked. Stevie Crawford came in, did alright, but still not good enough, left. Peter Grant is going to be sacked in the next couple of weeks. It's just ridiculous, and we're just all over the shop. We've got some of the worst players. We've still got there's some players on that team I really like, and I think will do really well for us. We've also got some who are just absolutely hopeless. We've got Ross Graham on loan from Dundee United, is the worst centre half I've ever seen at Dunfermline. Absolutely dreadful.
Are you missing big Ewan Murray?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Graham Dorrans is the worst Dunfermline captain.
Yes, I was going to say, speak to me about Dorrans.
He's just been absolutely dreadful since he came in. Absolutely woeful. He'll probably be the highest earner, I would guess. And he's been absolutely, pathetic in his performance. We set to with some fans at the weekend, which, I'm not going to go into who was right or wrong. It's just irrelevant. You just keep your mouth shut, your head down, and you go up the tunnel. If you're going to say something, it's an apology. And he decided to give a bit back, which, as somebody who's played for Rangers, played for Scotland, played in the Premier League down south, and he's playing as pish as he is now. It's utterly bizarre. I say he's our captain. I don't know, because they've never fucking announced who our captain is. we don't know who the club captain is. It's not been announced once. You've got rumours going around that Dom Thomas is asked to leave. He's on the bench on Saturday, doesn't get on. The fans are completely behind Dom. Kai Kennedy is fucking brilliant.
I feel bad for Kai Kennedy being stuck at a team like that.
Mate, he's been phenomenal. Even at the weekend he came on, and the players are getting. Listen, I say the reaction on Saturday. It wasn't great at full time, but I've seen a lot worse. Like, I've seen proper poisonous atmospheres where it's really bad. Really it gets personal. It wasn't that bad. Like when Peter Grant came over, he took shit tons of stick, which is to be expected. The Graham Dorrans stuff wasn't pretty, but the rest of the players, the majority of fans were still clapping the players off and trying to get the players going. And a few of them come over. Dom Thomas gave some boots to the fans. A couple came on, and it was all right, but. The biggest problem is people are not even angry anymore. They just don't give a shit anymore, and the crowds are dropping. It was less than 3,000 in the last home game. It'll be about just over 2,000 say this weekend, and people just don't care, and that's the worst thing. We've got new owners in who any positivity is just gone. I can't believe he's still in charge.
Can't believe it.
I just can't believe it. It makes no sense. We are so bad.
And you head into a game this weekend.
Inverness, we've won 5 from 5, yep. And we'll beat us again on Saturday. It's just
you look at the run. 2-2 against Morton, 3-0 loss to.
But we were dreadful against Morton, by the way.
3-0 loss to Partick at home. 3-0 loss to Arbroath at home. 3-0 loss to Elgin City in the Challenge Cup.
We didn't have players for COVID for that one.
3-1 loss to Ayr United. Still not.
And we got beat 5-0 off Rangers playing 3 up front at Ibrox.
It's not a pretty reading.
No, we concede 3 goals every single week. Like, it's a minimum at the moment. We're conceding 3 goals. It's just dreadful. We're so bad. And the goals, if you watch the 3 goals, anybody goes, what's a laugh? Go and watch the goals we conceded at the weekend. They are so bad.
It's like, Callum, do you remember that point last season where it got that bad? You just had to laugh at how bad we actually were.
That's what you could do.
It feels like you're in that period of time.
Well, we conceded in like the first minute, and I was just laughing as the goal went in.
Aye.
And so were people around me. It's just so predictable. Peter Grant, I just don't get why why not just walk? Because he's so obviously, and I don't want to go in too hard because I've met him a few times and he's been really good with me. So, but I'm still Dunfermline's fucking season ticket holder, and he's nowhere near good enough to manage our club just now. And somebody's got to see that on the board. Surely to Christ, there's not one. You know, when you get managers who are like under fire, you'll get some sections of support will back them. Nobody is backing them. There's talking about walkouts and stuff at the game on Saturday, which I don't think will happen. But fuck walkouts. Nobody's going to turn up in the first place. There's going to be nobody to walk out. That's the problem. The club will lose money and we'll just continue in a downward spiral. And this season, we're not winning the Championship this season. 5 games in, we are not winning the Championship. I don't care if they sack. We're 14 points to the top already.
That's a massive gap.
It's a ridiculous gap.
Massive gap.
We can maybe salvage the playoffs this season, but he needs to go now and they need to get somebody in. They just need to do a fucking interview process. They had 80 applicants and didn't interview anyone, and handpicked the guy who won 5 games last season and got relegated. Fuck me. Like, I tried to be positive about it because that's all you can do when something like that happens. You've got to try and be positive.
Like winning, getting the job in the showers.
Yeah, you just got to try and spin the positives, but there is nothing to be positive about now, apart from the fact we've still got some really talented footballers who can be good enough to get promoted with the right manager, but it's got to happen quickly. I'll be there on Saturday, but I know a load who are just not going.
I want you to vlog it, mate.
No, definitely not. Couldn't think of anything fucking worse. Christ almighty.
Vlog that shit show. That'd be some laugh. Let's try and dance for the rest of the league very quickly because we are coming up to the 43-minute mark and we're all in a rush today. What an embarrassing result for Hamilton Academical, but look at David's face.
That's me away.
That's you. He only came here for that outburst. That's it. That's what he's here for. What an embarrassing result. Hamilton losing 4-0 to part-time. I mean, fair fucks to Dick Campbell.
Third in the table. They are flying, baby.
They're the only part-time team in the league, and they're beating newly relegated Hamilton 4-0.
Do you want to know a funny story? Dick Campbell wanted to be Dunfermline manager, and we decided we didn't want him.
Really? Mm-hmm. Was that years ago?
No, that was this summer.
Wow.
Yep.
Would you like the big dick?
Fucking right.
Do you like Dick?
We wouldn't be on 1 point and 14 off the top if he was in charge.
I like Dick.
Listen, he's not a forward thinking, but he'd still be a lot better than what we've got now. And he said recently there's only like a couple of full-time teams he would leave Arbroath for. One of them is Dunfermline because that's his team, which he said a few times now. He wanted the job, the board didn't want him to give it to him, so that's that. People still want him to come in now, but he's not coming back. He's not going to come to Dunfermline now.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you?
Well, especially Arbroath are flying. Hamilton don't look so they're going to come back anytime soon. Calm with the way they started this season.
Nah, not at all. I mean, I don't think I would have tipped them to be like, sort of come down and bounce right back up.
Aye.
I'd have said Inverness or sort of stick him up, but nah, I mean, you couldn't have asked for a worse start.
Nah. Ninth for the table.
Dev's looking good with that prediction now, though. He predicted Inverness for the title.
Yeah, so let's go into that.
I questioned it.
Let's go into that. It was a good
Dodsy
battle,
ball, baby.
A good battle between two teams at the top of the table, Inverness and Partick Thistle. But Inverness now 5 out of 5, as you've already touched on, David. And Partick Thistle have been very impressive so far this season. So that win makes it even more impressive the run they've been on.
Well, Inverness were 4-1-0s going into that, and now they've scored 3 goals. It proves they can score goals.
Yep.
Kirk Broadfoot getting in the scoring. I mean, I looked at their players they signed and I thought, wow, they're going to struggle. But they're doing alright. They've got Kirk Broadfoot and Danny Devine at the back, and they're still doing alright, which is bizarre. Jesus. But no, they're flying. Fair play to Billy Dodds, because I don't think anyone expected that from him. Obviously, John Robertson was there, did a good job. Left. Neil McCann went in, did a decent job. And they're going about it the right way. They've signed up some young players this week on extended contracts, which is good. And yeah, I mean, Thistle went 1-0 up, and I thought Thistle might go there and win, but they didn't. And Cali are top of the league. We play them on Saturday, and it's going to be a laugh. I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think, just hearing about Kirk Broadfoot and that there, right? Do you think, like, seeing like Polish football, do you think in like the second tier there's people like Kirk Broadfoot there, like they've been around the game for that long, they're like a kind of...
Jakob Blaszczykowski's played for some second division Polish team.
Like stuff like that. Do you think they've got
Lucas
the players...
Piszczek's played in second division Polish football.
They look about, just...
Piszczek used to be a player, enough.
Piszczek, aye.
No, I mean, I don't know if he has played second division football.
No, I think Piszczek just retired in the summer there. Blaszczykowski, I think he ended up going
I'm also a bit bizarre to compare Kirk Broadfoot to Lucas Piszczek. That's about it.
Lucas Piszczek, Polish international,
Right
Bundesliga
back,
winner,
Champions League finalist, and all the rest of it.
Kirk Broadfoot. I remember I'll tell a funny story because I like doing this in podcasts. We were at Craig Tara in Ayr.
I was tempted to fuck off there at half time on Saturday.
So we went to Craig Tara. What were you going to Craig Tara?
No, it was better than going to football, wasn't it?
Just in a caravan. We were at Craig Tara in about 2010. We went into Ayr Town Centre to do some shopping, me, my mum, my gran, and we were waiting in the bus back. And I actually befriended the ticket inspector because I recognised him for years afterwards, like on the stagecoaches, like up here and everything. Nice guy, don't know if he's still living, but a lovely guy. And we're standing at the bus stop, and I seen me in my Celtic top. They went, "You're not going to like this, son. My nephew's a Rangers player, one of their best players." He's like, "Take a guess at who it is." So I'm sitting there. I think in 2010 it would have been or something. So I'm sitting there. I'm getting like,
It wasn't Broadfoot, was it?
Alan McGregor. He's like, no. He's like, I was like, I don't know. And he's like, Kirk Broadfoot. I was like, what?
What a player.
Nah, what a player. So Inverness, they're flying at the top of the table. The other two results for the weekend: Kelly 1, Morton 0.
Kelly again are going to be up there, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, should be. You'd expect that.
Yeah.
And then finally, Queen of the South 1, Rafe Rovers 0. And at Rafe, a bit of a shocker of a result.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that Wraith aren't flying this season. It'll come to damage limitation, and we have to just like finish ahead of Wraith, and that'll be our modus operandi for the season.
Modus operandi.
Modus operandi is not the right word to use. What is it that means again? And then that probably is the right word to use, like your aim, your objective. I just remember it from Chewing the Fat.
So you base everything nowadays off Chewing the Fat. Yeah. I'll fly through League 1 and League 2, and we'll look at the league tables and such.
Speaking of Chewing the Fat, on Friday night I was at a gaff pish doing Ronald Villiers impressions. That was the stage of the night I got to. I can't go wrong with that. So, like, we were creating new scenes, but I was with Ronald Villiers, so we did like the Taken speech, the Liam Neeson Taken speech, but I did it as Ronald Villiers. It was fucking tremendous.
That's content.
No. a few more of these in the scene.
Go on, do it.
No, definitely not.
Oh, yeah, spoiler spot. League 1, you'd have loved to have seen Falkirk getting beat. The mighty,
yes, that was the only thing that kept me going at the weekend.
The mighty Alloa, the Bees, 2-0, or the Wasps.
Alloa.
Yeah.
Fine. I mean, surprisingly, Fergie got a positive result because he's ruffling the feathers a little bit there. He's not the greatest start.
Yeah, I know. I think they're sitting 7th or something in the table just now.
I think he's pissed off a few people as well.
Oh, has he?
Just not like Fergie.
No, not at all. No, never. Cove 1, Montrose 1. Dumbarton, a big result, 5-0 against East Fife. Peterhead 3, Clyde 2. And finally, Queen's Park 0.
About time Peterhead won because Si was tipping them to do really well this year, and they hadn't started very well up until that point.
So 3-2 going into like half time or something.
No. There was loads of goals the first half in that game. I remember thinking that.
Good on the both teams to score.
Oh, aye.
That means Queen's Park still sit at the top of the table, a point ahead of second place Montrose. East Fife down at the bottom on 4 points. Peterhead are still struggling, though, 8th with 6 points so far. And then in League 2, Albion Rovers 2, Cowdenbeath 1, Annan Athletic 1, Stenhouse Muir 2. Kelly Hearts 1, Elgin City 1, Stirling Albion 1, Forfar 0, and Stranraer 0, Edinburgh City 1. Kelly Hearts still top of the table as expected.
Yeah, late equaliser from Callum Higginbotham at the weekend, which has kept them going. They will win League 2 at a canter, I have no doubt about it. I'm honestly a ball hair from going to support them as my team. I'm generally that close at this point.
You talk shite.
I love Higgy, I love Super Joe, lots to like at Kelly.
Lots to like. And then bottom of the table, Cowdenbeath on 4 points right now. And that wraps up the domestic pyramid of football. Hey! Which means, David, you can whip out the Twitter questions before we get on to
any other topics. I'm sure there's anything else that's happened.
Well,
it's been a quiet week, isn't it, really?
Yeah, well, I mean,
much happening.
Don Mackay left.
Yeah. That was tail end of last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's not much else that's going on, to be honest. Been a quiet one. Nothing huge. Do you know, sometimes I can't wait. We were talking about this in the way here. I can't wait for the big Joe Biden that to be in Glasgow. Gonna be some laugh. How was Transmit then, Cam? Who was the best act before, as David gets the questions ready?
Yeah.
Was it Liam Gallagher?
Do you know what? Do you know who I surprisingly enjoyed and I would not think whatsoever? I thought they'd been depressed during Keane.
Oh, aye. You got somewhere on the
Unbelievable. Aye.
Do you remember did you ever see that video? They did they were just on Buchanan Street singing that.
Aye, they're sitting busking away.
Yeah. Good song. It was a good song.
I
But I mean,
with that.
they ended up greeting him.
What's his face for DMAs? He was in to see the wee pub across the road for Crystal Palace.
But down in London.
Playing away with some wee boy.
Oh, here's a talking point. Talking about Crystal Palace, Best debut in Premier League history.
Well,
I'll put Manchester. I love that.
I know.
But
I genuinely do. I think that might be the best.
He's on,
Premier
he's
League
on
history.
18 goals per 90 just now.
I know, that's madness, isn't it? 6 minutes. 6 minutes. I didn't even know. So I was walking to Parkhead to meet up with Kieran and David, and I had no idea. I hadn't even checked the scores or nothing, and I was just about to put my ticket into the turnstiles, and David goes like to me, "Oh, Edward scoring 2, eh?" And I thought he was at the wind up. I was like, "Fuck him." He's like, "No, he scored 2. He came off in 6 minutes and scored 2." And I was like, "No fucking way." I looked up my phone. That is obscene.
I still can't understand what they call it. I don't even think, why did Liverpool not buy him? Why did Arsenal not buy him? Why did Tottenham not buy him?
Yeah, well, give him a year and he'll be at one of them.
Oh, without a doubt. I just don't. And it just comes back to the constant playing down of our league up here.
Yep.
He'd be brilliant at Arsenal. I would have Odsonne Edouard over Alexander Lacazette.
I'd have him over. I'd have him over a controversial opinion right now. I'd have him over Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang.
What is Aubameyang now?
32, 33,
Yeah.
and he's scored 1
And
goal.
Edouard's such an Arsenal player as well.
Yeah,
he's a proper French striker, quick, technically brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, he's destined to play there somewhere. But yeah, Calum, it's delightful to see a player that we love so well do so well, in their opening game.
I know, as again you'd said, it was Ian that said to me, even, "Oh, did you see Edward get 2?" And I was like, quite good. I'm like, "No, go and look." I'm looking.
We better do a wee bit of preview for the Europa League games as well.
Well, oh yeah, of course.
Well, we'll go to Ibrox first. Rangers Leon's going to be an interesting one. You're probably. This is the way I think Celtic fans are probably more excited about that game than they are about their own game. Forget him. Do you see who else scored at the weekend?
So somebody joining in with him who's had the barely chance.
Jason Denayer scored at the
Yeah,
weekend
big
as well.
Denayer as well. But
So-
did you see Dembele's goal?
Yeah,
Have
but
you seen his
it's a
feet?
cracker.
Oh, he's balding.
Right.
He's got
that's plenty.
he's got a hat trick Thursday.
Well, I genuinely think you lot are more excited about that game than your own game.
Nah, of course,
I
mate.
was going to say maybe another Nicholas Anelka minus the controversy.
minus the controversial celebrations.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting though. That's going to be a cracking game actually, because Rangers are always brilliant in Europe, but they just have been under Gerrard. And at home they'll be very, very good. But it's going to take some performance for them to beat Leon, because Leon are a top side.
Yeah, I think the advantage now is, of course, with Memphis Depay leaving, that the big hitter, the guy who would change the game, is gone. But on that note, Moussa Dembele now has scored 4 goals in the Ligue 1 this season. He's really stepped up and grabbed the baton of, I am now the star man here. I am going to be Leon's man.
Let's just forget about Depay for a minute. Hassam
yes, Jason
Jordan
Denayer, of course, we spoke
who's
about
just
Jordan
got an
Sakiri.
assist at the weekend. Jordan Sakiri's phenomenal, by the way. Every international tournament, think about what he does.
What about players' calves? What about his?
By the way.
His legs are ridiculous.
Yes.
So they've got a number of players that can really hurt Rangers.
I don't think Rangers can beat Leon.
I think they can. Of course they can.
No, they can. Obviously they can. I don't think they will beat Leon. I don't think they will.
No, they don't. I think that's got 2 each written all over it.
No, it's got Leon win, Dembele hat trick. Mate, a lot of this is the thing, right? I've kind of rose to more prominence since Dembele has left Celtic, right? Only people who
you hear that? What an up yourself
Fuck
sentence.
off.
I've rose to prominence.
I didn't mean I've became more prominent over the past kind of year, especially with Celtic doing so shit. A lot of the Rangers fans won't know how much I love Moussa, that he's my favourite Celtic player, apart from maybe Arthur Borich and Scott Brown. Especially over the last few years, he's been my favourite player. I love him, I adore him. So I'm going to say it. I'm going to say a Dembele hat trick all the time because I love the kid.
Well, the reason it reminded me of the Europa League, somebody asked the question, Lewis Campbell asked, should Rangers get out of the Europa League group comfortably? Now, comfortably would be a bit of a stretch.
I think they can get out.
We've got Brøndby, Sparta Prague and Leon.
They can get out of that.
Yeah, of course they can, but I mean, Sparta Prague is going to be very tough for them.
Yeah, we know exactly what Sparta Prague bring. But we'll talk about Thursday. Calum, what do you think at Ibrox? It's the question of whether or not Rangers just repeat how good they've been in Europe.
I think it is. I think it would be a fit, and I think they'll play the usual way. We've seen them a few times, playing the counter attack. I think that's the best way they could do it. Just hold in against Leon, just play on the break.
I think there's 2 each written all over it. There you go, 2 each.
So we'll do score predictions. Let's do it. So you're saying 2 each.
2-1 Leon.
3-1 Leon.
We've got a really.
You know why?
I think the Celtic game is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, let's head to Seville.
It's really weird because Real Betis, have Celtic played them before?
Not in
our lifetime,
recent memory, they haven't, but very favourable tie for Celtic at the moment. I don't know what was the score last night with Granada actually.
2-1 finished.
To who?
Betis.
So they have
Sure, it was
finally.
last year they lost them.
That's
Granada
the-
haven't started very well, though.
No, Granada had, but neither had Betis. Betis. That was their first win of the season last night. They have struggled in the opening few games. Manuel Pellegrini in charge.
Audrey Roberts.
Big Audrey Roberts. But still, it is one of those ones, right? This is the thing. Betis have been playing very poorly. But it's so typical of Celtic to get a team that is usually good playing poor and then they turn up on the night because they've got the guys to do it. They've got players like Nabil Fekir in that team who can just turn up, decide on the night, we're going to have a banger here. They've got William Carvalho as well, a Portuguese midfielder.
Yeah.
It's a very talented squad, and all it takes, Callum, is one performance in the night from guys like that, and Celtic can't handle it.
Oh, definitely. I think, as you said, it's just typical Celtic in Europe. You've got that tie. You think, you know what, we could go over here, maybe take a result. If you sneak a result, you're absolutely fine. But then there will be that sort of, I feel, half-hour period where it's just blunder after blunder for us.
This is the game where you'll be like, I mean, it's not on paper to me. It's not a game for Alban Ajeti, but he's probably going to have to play, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's a game for Kyogo and everyone that he would bring. It's a game for Odds and Edward. So what is this? The big Greek guy? Is he going to be? What's the script? When's he going to be fit? When's he going to be available?
Not really been said. I think we're talking a couple of weeks.
Interestingly, I mentioned earlier, I just seen on Twitter somebody said that the Carter Vickers press conference has been cancelled.
Yeah.
Was there a reason given for that?
Nah, we got emailed saying it's got to be rescheduled. But it's the same last week. Not Scales, is Yakimakis has got cancelled last week, and Jackie McNamara's got cancelled.
What was Jackie McNamara doing one for?
Signing him.
Oh, right, okay.
Need a new right back, don't we?
Yeah. Fairman's record transfer.
No, it's because he's released his autobiography.
Right, okay.
So he's doing something with the fans, Just nice. I love Jackie.
Got a lot of token gesture fan press conference, don't you?
Shut up. Right, grow up, you. I'm looking forward to Thursday night. I think it could be all the.
I don't get this, right? You all wanted fan press conference and stuff to be able to hold the club to account. In what way do any of these fan press conferences?
Don't.
Exactly.
That's not the part of what we're talking about just now, Dave. We're talking about Europa.
No, but it's like you were all saying that we need to hold the club to account, right? Now,
we can't help it.
Token gesture nonsense.
They're not
so
shit
surely
now.
the way to react to that would say, well, fuck your new signing press conferences. It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It is just saying, right.
Do you think half the publications there are going to do that? Do you think half of them are going to do that?
Why are you not going to do that then? Why don't you just make a stand if you disagree with that?
We make a stand against
Well, no,
them.
if all the fan media publications went, no, fuck you.
They're not going to, but do you realise half the people there?
I know, but this is what
It's just
pisses
not
me off
gonna
about
happen.
it. It's just gonna. You'll never get a fan media press conference
like
that
I
can
had-
hold the club to account. It will just not happen.
No, it's not going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's token gesture nonsense.
Shut up.
It is though. Yeah, I'm right.
Right, anyway, I appreciate the opportunities as always.
You're a sellout bastard, you tell you.
off.
Slag the club rotten all last
And I
year.
still do.
And they let you
I
ask-
still
you ask-
do.
let you ask one question to a new player.
I send McGinley for the experience.
Sorry.
It's not even me it goes.
That's the go-to.
Aye.
If in doubt, wheel McGinley out.
Thursday night, I'm buzzing because it's obviously Ange's first game in Europe, so it's got to be a new thing to see.
No,
Cal,
it's
man.
not.
No, it's not.
First group stage. Fuck off. See what you've done to me. First group stage European game. Looking forward to it. This is like the big time now.
I know. I think, I'm not saying this will be like, it is a big test, of course, but I think obviously still more to come. I don't think we can base what we'll see the full European campaign off this one game. But I think also it'd be nice to get off to a positive start.
Be nice to get a good result. We need to win all our games at Celtic Park. We really do. And I know Leverkusen's going to be difficult. I know Betis is going to be difficult. Ferencváros shouldn't be, but will still be difficult. To get a decent result, even if we want to just go and hold ourselves in the game for the 90 minutes, that would give me confidence we can beat them at Celtic Park. We'd do that.
I know, as long as it's not one, as long as they're not absolute pushovers, as you say, as long as you go, make a try it, don't make it your simple, just sit in full time, just try and hold out. That's, I think that's what I can go for.
Yeah, right, so once again, predictions. Starting at the end of the table.
I don't know. It's a tough one for me. I just don't know much about Betis. I'm going to say 2-1 Celtic. Why not?
Oofed. What are you saying, Cal?
2-1 Celtic.
Oh, I'm going to go 1-0 Celtic.
Clean sheet.
So I'm going to say, clean sheet. Big Carter Vickers to slap Fekir
Celtic don't
about.
keep clean sheets in Europe though. There will be a howler at some point. It's the law.
It's the law, innit? Aye. I am the law. Yes, that's it. That's Europe on Thursday. Celtic and Rangers both taking part in the Europa League. Excited to see it back. Celtic the earlier of the kickoffs. You can catch them at, I believe, 5:30.
5:45.
5:45, and then you can see Rangers at 8 o'clock if you're interested in either of the
sponsors
games.
of BT now.
Yes, I mean Big
BT
Rio.
can sponsor us if they want.
I'd gladly take that.
Me and,
right.
me and Rio living it up, man. I'd love to be sitting with
This
Rio.
podcast is a sell it. We will sell it for absolutely anyone. I will drink pints out of a G4 Claims glass. You know, that's...
I'll drink pints out of fucking Rangers glass. I won't.
Mate, did you ever get a new pint glass off Stephen?
No, but there is one appeared in the flat. Where did that come from? I'm claiming it because mine got broke.
But where did it actually come from?
No idea. But I never got one back from Stephen, which upsets me. There's a camera.
There's a camera away. Right, so we'll move on to the final two segments of the show. Twitter questions, Davy boy.
Oh, aye.
Now, did you lock your phone there, aye?
Aye, so
Forgot about it.
Lewis Campbell asked, will Rangers make it through comfortably?
Well, still, let me spin the question. Celtic and Rangers, who's making it through the group?
Both.
Do you think both?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Do you think going through in first and second? Because third, remember,
I think
gets...
Leon will win that group. I think Rangers
Remember,
come
third
through
place
second.
gets Conference League football.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Forget that saying now.
McGinley's all up for it. McGinley's proper
Well,
champion.
I would be as well, because you get this extra away trips in Europe, innit?
Yeah, I suppose that's a good part of it, but fuck me. We should have a standard
He would
set
quite
up.
like to win that, though. That'd be a lovely thing to win. Imagine being the inaugural conference. That'd be cool.
It'll be gone in 10 years. It won't
No,
last.
it will
Hey,
not.
fucking
Nah,
will.
that'll
What
stay.
about,
Of course it won't.
what about the Intertoto Cup and all that shit?
No, but this is completely different. This is all the clubs that are like. It's going to be brilliant for so many clubs who are not
Did
quite.
they not say that about the Intertoto Cup?
I don't know. I wasn't around.
There was that.
You know.
Listen, I do not like the idea of Celtic fans getting comfortable being in that
But this
competition.
is different because there's a clear link between all three now. And there's
Yeah, I
a pathway.
suppose.
You know, it's regimented. It's there, and I think it's cool.
I think it's good for every other team. Not for Celtic.
You would love to win that though.
I would, but I'm not going to say no. I wouldn't.
You would love to win it.
I'd
If
celebrate
Celtic
it.
get to the semi-final, that you'll be fucking buzzing at the thought of winning the European
I know,
trophy.
there's going to be clips of me come the end of the
You'll be
season.
fucking doing light shows in the 21st minute for the Conference League in about 10 years' time. Telling you.
21.
I know. Where's the final getting?
It's in Albania. It's in a press.
That's going to be an interesting
the
one.
president, big Celtic fan.
Aye, in the heat of Albania.
We'll get fucking. We'll him out. We'll get a statue of the president of Albania built with it.
What are his politics? Just of interest.
I actually don't know.
Because I think it's a bit of a dangerous thing to be glorifying this guy when you've no idea what he stands for.
Yeah, he's a legend, man. Albania.
Watch him be like fucking anti-gay rights, anti-fucking immigration, anti-everything.
Albania politics. Let's see. Politics. The Albanian political crisis of 2019 to 2021.
That's not a great start.
The opposition parties organised a series of protests and rallies against it was stopped against the government to demand new elections and the formation of a technocrat government that would ensure the fairness of the electoral process, citing electoral.
So he's a dictator, is that what you're telling me?
Caused by suspected vote buying in the 2017 Albanian parliament.
Sounds like a good guy then, right enough. aye.
Corruption and organised crime in the government.
So we couldn't hope for a better start.
What a legend. Love him. Absolutely love him.
Jesus Christ.
What's the other question?
You'll get cancelled off the back of that by an Albanian CSC.
Well, the Albanian CSC is run by him.
It's him, man.
It's genuinely run by him.
Oh, you know what else we didn't cover? Let's cover the questions are the usual. We cover them all, and we always cover them all. Somebody asked me who I think should be the next Unfair Manager. I don't know.
John Hughes.
John
you're saying.
Hughes. Let's get John Hughes in. I wouldn't mind.
Probably the best shout,
See,
to
for
be fair.
years I went with a whole like that's a proper appointment, but now I'm like, well, see, like he did a good job. He did a fucking phenomenal job at Inverness. Did a great job at County last season. Hibs, wasn't amazing. Wraith Rovers was a disaster, but there was mitigating circumstances. Let's get Yogi in. Why not? Are we ever going to cover Lowland League and Highland? Listen, mate, we barely cover the fucking League 1 and League 2, so that's probably not going to happen. Mr. Loyal Hadji asks, who will be Rangers' most...
Oh, get in! Oh, he's a socialist.
He's a so...
Aye. Big Ilermeta. Oh, he's a socialist. What a hero. Brilliant. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks.
Right, we're fine. Who will be Rangers' most important player this season? I know you two care greatly about that.
Who'll be Rangers' most important player?
Yeah.
I think, honestly, it could be Kmart Roof.
Yeah, good shout.
What about you, Cal?
Joe Rabel.
Yeah, great shout. I'll tell you, he's had a great start to the season.
Aye.
He's probably been the best player so far this season. Good shout, I like that. I'm gonna stick with that. Ryan Kent's still fucking pissed just now. What's happened with him?
It's always been pish, mate. I've said it for years.
See, I knew this was going to happen, right? All the stuff that Ryan like backed down on last season and started praising Rangers. As soon as it starts to go a little bit shite, he'll be like, "I tell yous all along. It was me, Austin." I knew that was going to happen. Right, what else have we got? Not really anything else. Let's just move on to. Oh yeah, Sam Wardrop has left Airdrie. Took the decision to take a step back from football. And the main talking point I want to bring out from this is, first of all, fair fucking play, because I spoke to him a bit yesterday. He's basically decided, I'm not happy doing this anymore, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Which, for a young professional footballer, for years and years would have been such like an impossible thing to do. You're trapped. Football's all or nothing. He's had the balls to go, listen, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm not happy. I'm going to do something else. So, fuck football, just as a life thing. You're not happy? Go and do something else. Fair play to Sam. He's smashing it off the pitch. He will have nothing to worry about, and he will be a success, I'm sure, no matter what he does. So, yeah, fair play to Sam.
Yeah, best of luck to him. Best of luck to Sam. All the best.
Right, questions.
Is this it? Is this time? It's time, ladies and gentlemen. It's the favourite part of the show for me. The resident Chris Tarrant.
And I'm the resident fucking Sean Wallace, you know?
Sean Wallace, aye.
Absolute quiz demon.
Who are you going, Cal? And Anne Hegarty?
Cheers. Fuck's sake.
There's someone in the comments like, David, you're not Sean Wallace, you're fucking Mark Labette, you can't.
If pick anybody for a game show, who would you be? A host or anything?
No, Bradley Walsh.
Bradley Walsh?
Aye,
You like to be Paddy McGuinness? That'll ding dang do for us.
No like it.
Right, okay, let's get this quiz going. Thank you once again, as always, to Matthew Duff, who makes the quizzes for us. Another good one this week. I'm looking forward to giving you this. So, lads, who am I letting pick?
Callum can pick.
Oh,
you don't know, I do this every time. It doesn't fucking faze me. I'll win either way.
Oh, how many have you won?
Lots, to be fair.
Have you? Right,
I have won loads. I very rarely get beat.
Okay, fair enough. Right, Callum, set A or set B, mate?
Set B.
Set B, right, okay, good. Right, let's get going then. Set A, question 1 for you, David Buick, to get us off the mark. Leon head to Ibrox this Thursday, but what two ex-Celtic players scored for Leon against Strasbourg on Sunday?
Mr. Dembele and Jason Denayer.
Correctamundo. Right.
Can we start this one again?
Right, question 1 for you, Calm. Inverness were victorious against Partick Thistle on Saturday to make it 5 wins from 5 in the Championship. But how many goals have they conceded in their opening 5 games?
Ooh. Now,
if you were listening,
if you're listening to
one, correct. If you're listening,
fair
play.
Well done. 1-8. Good start to the quiz. Then we've got it all on the balance. Right. Stop there, right? You don't even want to win, just want to draw.
Fine by me.
Pointing up the road.
1 point up the road, exactly.
David, how many non-Europeans started for Celtic during their 3-0 win over Ross County? How many non-Europeans?
That's a good one.
It's quite a good question. Matthew always does brilliant in these quizzes. Keeps them relevant, topical to the weekend. Brilliant.
Now, I'm not actually sure who started in midfield for Celtic. Now, I'm assuming it was McGregor, Turnbull and Rogic, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to say 4. Hart, Taylor, McGregor and Turnbull. Oh no, non.
That's a little bit. But
when was Hart non-European?
Wait, I've got really confused.
You fucked it.
I've thought like non.
You think of Brexit?
No, so I'm thinking like the ones that are not.
Who did you say, Hart?
McGregor. I've basically got really confused and done like the home nations ones. So like the ones that are not from Europe. But even though they are from Europe. I'm on Brexit, fucking right.
So what was your...
Hold on, I'm on Brexit. There's a loophole in that question.
Fuck off. So what was your thought?
My thought was like...
So when did you say Hart?
I thought it meant like outside the home nations.
Hart and McGregor are from the home nations.
Exactly, so they're not from like out in Europe.
So what?
But then there's Carter Vickers because he's fucking American.
The correct answer is 2.
Oh, shut the fuck up, alright?
The correct answer is 2 Carter Vickers and Tom Rogic. That's your correct answers for the non-European.
I do this every quiz. I get most things right, but then the easy ones I just jump into.
You've done the one with the goals.
In the Euros. Aye. So there's about 200 goals in the Euros.
Well, is it no 300?
Oh, fuck this.
Right, Calm, to take the lead. How many? Oh, there's a drilling. Sorry if you can hear any noise in the back. How many players did referee Willie Collum book in the 59th minute during St Johnstone versus Rangers?
4.
Correct. He's taking the lead. The 4 players, can you name them?
I get a bonus point.
No, fuck off.
Right, nah, then.
But it was
Okay.
it was
Rooney,
Yes.
Morelos,
Yes.
Roof,
Yes.
and O'Halloran? No.
Nope.
Craig.
Craig. Correct.
Because
Right.
him and Roof had to be.
Yep.
Aye.
Okay. 2-1 to Callum.
I can't fucking believe
Third
that.
question for you, David. Hamilton.
McGregor, Turnbull, fucking Taylor Hart. Non-European. Brexit, man.
As soon as I had Hart, I was like, what?
My head just went like, yeah, fucking Jesus.
Yep,
Christ.
okay. Hamilton player on loan from Wolves, Luke Matheson, scored against which Premier League club at the age of 16? Lovely drum in there.
That is loud, isn't it?
It is loud, isn't it?
Music expensive, I don't. But
What? Like, he scored against. He's on loan
Hamilton
from
player on loan from Wolves, Luke Matheson, scored against which Premier League club at the age
English
of 16?
Premier League club.
Yes.
I don't know. Can't question it. Or is it my question?
Your question.
Fucking hell. No, I don't have a clue. Crystal Palace.
You want to hazard a guess?
Arsenal.
Manchester United
Ah,
is the
might never
correct
got that.
answer. So it's still 2-1 to Callum. To make it 3-1, Callum. Robbie Nielsen won Manager of the Month for August, but which is the only non-Scottish side he's managed?
Fucking why aren't I getting these questions?
Not got a fucking
Yeah,
scoop.
do you know, no.
MK Dons.
Yeah,
Is it?
MK Dodge,
Good enough,
correct
don't
answer. Yep. So it's still 2-1. A chance to equalise for you, David, and your fourth question. Who's the top scorer in the bottom 6 of the Premiership so far?
Oh, who even are the bottom 6 in the Premiership? Oh, Jesus
So do you want-
Christ.
I'll tell you-
I can't remember who's where.
I'll tell you the bottom 6.
You got Livy, County, Dundee.
You don't need me to fucking tell you, apparently. So the bottom 6 right now is Dundee United, St Johnstone, Dundee, St Mirren, Ross County and Livingston.
Oh, Jesus, there's not many goals in there, is there? Deary me. I'm really struggling with that. O'Halloran? I don't know.
No. Cam, do you have a guess?
No.
Ryan McGinley would love it because he's been touting them all fucking season for some reason. Jason Cummins, 2 goals.
Oh, Cumdog.
Cumdog got 2 goals.
2 goals. So that's the correct
That's a
answer.
Pretty dreadful return for the bottom 6.
Yes. Right, Callum, to take the win. This could be it. If you get this right, you've got the dub this week. Who has the most assists in the Scottish Premiership out with the old firm?
Fuck, who's asking?
It's a good question.
Okay, Stephen.
Liam Boyce?
It's not
The
the two.
voice has been scoring, that's what I thought.
No, the
Boyce.
correct answer is Jake Carroll. 3 assists
Motherwell,
thus
yeah.
far. Yep. Okay.
That's right, so I'm still alive here.
You're
just
still
about.
alive, just
Jeez.
about, as we head into the final 2 questions, or the final question for these both. According to Transfermarkt, the highly popular website used to evaluate players, give stats, etc., which Scottish Championship side has the lowest market value?
Arbroath.
Correct. 2-all. The parent market value of Arbroath is £1.64 million, which is actually a lot more than I thought that it would be.
That's what
Yeah,
I thought
but-
it would be before.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, final question, Cam. To win the quiz. Question 5. Which Scottish League One side has the highest average age of 28.8 years
Holy
old?
Fuck, what a question that is.
Fuck's sake.
You're stabbing in the dark a little bit, aren't you?
Isn't it? Falkirk.
East Fife.
Both wrong. It's Cove Rangers.
Oh, wow.
28.8. There you go. Right, so it finishes 2-all in the
Thank
penalty
God I
shootout,
scraped myself into the...
which means it's time for the tiebreaker question. Right, tiebreaker question. Right.
That was so brief.
I want to actually, for the tiebreaker, we need like something tense, you know. Right, so who answers first here? Who's answering first? Is it you?
It was me that answered first, yes.
Yeah, so okay, right.
Shit, that's not actually an advantage answering first.
Tiebreaker anyway. According to FOTMob, right, how many expected goals were accumulated over all 6 Scottish Premiership fixtures over the weekend? So combined, how many expected goals were ranked up in the Scottish Premiership this weekend? That's a tough one. Closest gets it.
Right, well, so my thing is the Edinburgh Derby was 0-0, but I would reckon there was a good few expected goals in that with
Okay.
the chances that were had. So I would say there was probably 2 in the Edinburgh Derby combined. I would say I think they probably had both were at about 1 each. With the chances they, with the chances they had, yeah, I would say so. So 2 and so right, hold on. 16.
Okay, 16 on the button. You're going for 16 on the button. Okay.
Aye. Well, okay, 15.7. Fuck it.
Okay, right. 15.7 is the answer that you're going for.
That seems.
Callum.
So I could be dicking like 14.8. Let's just start.
It's up to you.
I thought I was low, to be honest. Because you've played games of FM when you've had about 4 XG and scored no goals.
14.8.
Fuck.
14.8.
Okay, I was high, but I said low.
So you said
15.7.
15.7. You said 14.8. I can announce that the winner
It's Callum Craig.
of today's
100%. Yeah, I went
TSF
very
quiz
high.
is
I went very high. That's why I tried to make you go higher.
it's Mr. Callum Craig. Well done, Callum. The correct answer, according to ThoughtMob, was 14.38.
Oh, not far off, to be fair.
Not far off. Yep, I was tempted to say don't let him throw you off when he went, oh, I see, I thought it'd be
Because I knew
higher.
I'd gone high, so that's why I was like.
I was like, he's going to try and throw you off.
I'll try to find that middle room.
14.38 is the correct answer.
So my
Well
logic
done,
was I went 2 in the Hearts game and I went 1 for the rest of the nil-nils, and I went 4 in the Celtic
Well,
game.
I'll tell you right now.
4 in the Rangers
We'll run
game.
through it very quickly to end off the show before we get to the outro. I'll tell you what the expected goals
probably not right.
were. So, expected goals for Hearts was 1.46. Expected goals for Hibs was 1.08.
Oh wow! So yeah, right.
And then in the rest of the games, very quickly, get the stats up. Rangers,
Get 2 for it.
St Johnstone were 0.86. Rangers were 1.22.
And so I said 3 for that in my head. It was only 2.
Celtic were 2.71.
Oh fucking hell! I thought Celtic would have been like 4.
Ross County were 0.50. Dundee and Livingston. Dundee were 1.28. Livy was 0.51. Motherwell were 1.3. Aberdeen 1.01. And finally, in the 0-0 between St Mirren and Dundee United, St Mirren was 0.77 and Dundee were actually 1.68
Oh, that's
in
quite
that
high.
game. So, there you go. There's your answers right there, as it came to 14.3. Well done, Cal. A victory. In the defeat to David Buick, you thought he'd win. You knew he'd win.
To be fair, I thought he'd win an all, and I still.
If I had his questions, I would have won.
me.
Well, you should have won. You fucked it. With that non-EU.
Well, you never should. Well, hold on, it was not only you that I was doing all right. Brexit, baby. Because Scotland and England are not in the EU, are they?
I suppose, actually, because he has worded it. Yeah, technically, you are kind of right then, because he's worded it. He should have worded it non-European.
And what did he say?
Maybe. Wait, let me check.
Did he say non-EU?
Oh no, he did say non. He did say non-Europeans.
Right, okay, well that's fine. I still fucked up.
Aye,
But
I said non-Europeans. That's what I meant to say there. So, you fucked it by saying.
yeah, I know I fucked it. I'm
Aye.
aware of that. But I'm just explaining how and why.
Well, there's no how and why. You fucked it.
Yeah, I know. I'm admitting that.
The continent of Europe is different from the EU.
That's fine.
You've got my head scrambled now as well. Right, that's it for today's show, lads. It was a brilliant one. I enjoyed that.
Get him out, Sean.
Yeah, it's the
Just
final-
get him out,
the final-
please.
the
This
final
week,
message.
give anything you're going to do. Just get rid of him, please. I can't be arsed having to wait until fucking next week after we get beat again. Come on. Actually, let's check Twitter and make sure he's not gone while we've been
He's
recording.
not gone. He's not gone. I can guarantee
I just
that.
can't be arsed.
Callum,
Maybe David O'Day's
that will be it. Callum, it's been a pleasure, mate. I hope you enjoy.
Well, it's all,
Are
mate.
you got to
Nice
live
to
in?
be back.
You got to live in Sunday?
I'm trying to get a ticket sorted.
Yeah, no bad. Well, I'll be there. I'll be at my first away game since March 2019. Looking forward to it. Sorry, March 2020, not 2019. March 2020. That's a fucking long time, that. First is March 2020. I look forward to it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Also, the voting is still open for the football club.
No, it's not.
Oh, is it not?
Is that right?
It's not.
It shut yesterday.
Oh, did it?
Shows how much we care.
But we didn't go for one final push.
We don't deserve
To
an
be
award.
fair, when you see
How do we
who's
not
in that
deserve an
guy,
award?
Well, if you think we do, then fucking fair enough. But
You're very fucking good at this, huh?
I just think we could and should be doing more, but we haven't got the time, do we?
Nah, no, it's difficult, isn't it? But thanks very much for everybody who has voted for us over the course of the past few weeks and towards the final of the Football Content Awards. If we win, we win. If we don't, we don't.
Have we still got a delegation going down? Somebody needs to email them back, I think, because that's not. I'm not going personally, but.
Oh.
I'm going to see if EE will give me a holiday. Something.
Got a Newcastle.
Asking for holidays. Well, listen, I'm up for a very prestigious award, Mr. EE. That's what you should be saying. Yeah, listen here, Kevin Bacon. I'm fucking busy.
Get him to fund the film.
Right, anyway, thank you. Like and subscribe. If you're on Spotify, make sure to share it out, and we will see you all next time.